listening to the Holy Bible 1-Year Challenge with Master Storyteller Michael Wood, featuring the easy-to-read version and used by permission from Bible League International. Enjoy the show!
Hello everyone, welcome to day 56. We're continuing in the book of Exodus. And Bezalel and Aholiab continued to work on the things that go in to the holy tent of the Lord. They work on the box of the agreement. Another word for it is the Ark of the Covenant. You might have heard it from Indiana Jones in the film Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then they work on the table, the lampstand, and the altar for burning incense. And you're going to see that almost all of it is made from pure gold. And you'll see the people of the time giving up their gold, silver, and bronze, all for the cause. This was truly a holy tent and items made from the people for the Lord. We're also continuing in the New Testament, and in the book of Mark, Jesus is wrestling with his followers. They don't always understand him. Like when Jesus is talking about being careful about the yeast of the Pharisees and the yeast of Herod, he was speaking figuratively, but his followers keep taking it literally because they're self-conscious that they didn't bring enough bread for the trip. And so the Lord reminds them about how he fed 5,000 people and 4,000 people. So why would he be talking about not bringing enough bread? And then Jesus asks his followers what word on the street is about who he is. We saw this scene play out in Matthew chapter 16, when Peter admits that Jesus is the Son of God. But we don't get into as much detail in the book of Mark. Then Jesus goes on to explain that he must die and be raised on the third day. And you have to understand, his followers had never seen anything like that happen. It's never happened in all of history up to that point. So it seems very clear to people today, because it's already happened, his followers couldn't quite grasp the concept. Stay with us to hear more details. If you enjoy the show, visit me at patreon.com/storymaster. You'll find the link in the description box below. By contributing as little as $1 per month, you will enable me to continue this ministry, and you'll get cool rewards too. Together, we're going to get through the Bible in 1 year. Let's get started. Exodus chapter 37. The box of the agreement. Bezalel made the holy box from acacia wood. The box was 110 centimeters long, 66 centimeters wide, and 66 centimeters high. He covered the inside and outside of the box with pure gold, and he put gold trim around the box. He made 4 rings of gold and attached them to the 4 corners. These rings were used for carrying the box. There were 2 rings on each side. Then he made the poles for carrying the box. He used acacia wood and covered the poles with gold. He put the poles through the rings on each side of the box to carry it, and he made the cover from pure gold. It was 110 centimeters long and 66 centimeters wide. Then Bezalel hammered gold to make 2 winged creatures. He put the winged creatures on each end of the cover. He put 1 winged creature on one end and the other winged creature on the other end. The winged creatures were joined together with the cover to make one piece. The wings of the winged creatures were spread up towards the sky. The winged creatures covered the box with their wings and faced each other, looking towards the cover. The table. Then he made the table from acacia wood. The table was 88 centimeters long, 44 centimeters wide, and 66 centimeters high. He covered it with pure gold and put gold trim around it. Then he made a frame 75 millimeters wide around the table. He put gold trim on the frame, and he made 4 gold rings and attached them to the 4 corners of the table where the 4 legs were. He put the rings close to the frame. The rings were told to hold the poles used to carry the table. Then he used acacia wood to make the poles for carrying the table. He covered the poles with gold. Then he made everything that was used on the table. He made the plates, the spoons, the bowls, and the pitchers from pure gold. The bowls and pitchers are used for pouring the drink offerings. The lampstand. Then he made the lampstand. He used pure gold and hammered it to make the base and the shaft. Then he made flowers, buds, and petals, and joined everything together into one piece. The lampstand had 6 branches, 3 branches on one side and 3 branches on the other side. Each branch had 3 flowers on it. These flowers are made like almond flowers with buds and petals. The shaft of the lampstand had 4 more flowers. They were also made like almond flowers with buds and petals. There were 6 branches, 3 branches coming out from each side of the shaft. And there was a flower with buds and petals below each of the 3 places where the branches joined the shaft. The whole lampstand with the flowers and branches was made from pure gold. All this gold was hammered and joined together into one piece. He made 7 lamps for this lampstand, and he made lamp snuffers and trays from pure gold. He used 35 kilograms of pure gold to make the lampstand and the things used with it. The altar for burning incense. He made the altar for burning incense from acacia wood. The altar was square. It was 44 centimeters long, 44 centimeters wide, and 88 centimeters high. There were 4 horns on the altar. There was 1 horn on each corner. These horns were joined together with the altar to make one piece. He covered the top, all the sides, and the horns with pure gold. Then he put gold trim around the altar. He made 2 gold rings for the altar. He put the gold rings below the trim on each side of the altar. These gold rings held the poles for carrying the altar. He made the poles from acacia wood and covered them with gold. Then he made the holy anointing oil. He also made the pure, sweet-smelling incense. He made them just as a perfume maker would do it. Exodus 38. The altar for burnt offerings. Then Bezalel used acacia wood to build the square altar for burning offerings. It was 2.2 meters long, 2.2 meters wide, and 1.3 meters high. He made a horn for each of the 4 corners of the altar. He joined each horn to its corner so that everything was one piece. He covered the altar with bronze. Then he used bronze to make all the tools to be used on the altar. He made the pots, shovels, bowls, forks, and pans. Then he made a grating for the altar, a network made of bronze. He put the grating below the ledge of the altar so that it reached halfway down the sides. Then he made bronze rings to hold the poles for carrying the altar. He put the rings at the 4 corners of the grating. Then he used acacia wood to make the poles and covered them with bronze. He put the poles through the rings on the sides of the altar to carry it. He used boards to make the sides of the altar. It was hollow, like an empty box. He made the bowl and its base with bronze. He used the bronze mirrors that the women gave. These were the women who served at the entrance to the meeting tent. The courtyard around the holy tent. Then he made a wall of curtains around the courtyard. On the south side, he made a wall of curtains 44 meters long. The curtains were made from fine linen. The curtains on the south side were supported by 20 posts. The posts were on 20 bronze bases. The hooks for the posts and the curtain rods were made from silver. The north side of the courtyard also had a wall of curtains, 44 meters long. There were 20 posts with 20 bronze bases. The hooks for the posts and the curtain rods were made from silver. On the west side of the courtyard, the wall of curtains was 22 meters long. There were 10 posts and 10 bases. The hooks for the posts and the curtain rods were made from silver. The east side of the courtyard was 22 meters wide. The entrance to the courtyard was on this side. On one side of the entrance, the wall of curtains was 6.6 meters long. There were 3 posts and 3 bases on this side. The wall of curtains on the other side of the entrance was also 6.6 meters long. There were 3 posts and 3 bases on that side. All the curtains around the courtyard were made from fine linen. The bases for the posts were made from bronze. The hooks and the curtain rods were made from silver. The tops of the posts were covered with silver also. All the posts in the courtyard had silver curtain rods. The curtain for the entrance of the courtyard was made from fine linen and blue, purple, and red yarn. Designs were woven into that curtain. The curtain was 9 meters long and 2 meters high. It was the same height as the curtains around the courtyard. The curtain was supported by 4 posts and 4 bronze bases. The hooks on the posts were made from silver. The tops on the posts were covered with silver, and the curtain rods were also made from silver. All the tent pegs for the holy tent and for the curtain rods around the courtyard were made from bronze. Moses commanded the Levites to write down everything that was used to make the holy tent, that is, the tent of the agreement. Ithamar, son of Aaron, was in charge of keeping the list. Bezalel, the son of Uri and the grandson of Hur from the tribe of Judah, made everything the Lord commanded Moses. Also, Aholiab, son of Ahisamach from the tribe of Dan, helped him. Aholiab was a skilled worker and designer. He was skilled at weaving fine linen and blue, purple, and red yarn. The people gave 1,000 kilograms of gold as an offering to the Lord for his holy place. This was weighed using the official measure. All the men 20 years old or older were counted. Each man had to pay a tax of 1 beka of silver. Using the official measure, 1 beka is 1/2 shekel. There were 603,550 men, so they collected about 3,420 kilograms of silver. They used 3,400 kilograms of that silver to make 100 bases for the holy tent and its curtains. They used 34 kilograms of silver for each base. They used the remaining 20 kilograms of silver to make the hooks, the curtain rods, and the silver covers for the posts. They gave more than 2,425 kilograms of bronze. That bronze was used to make the bases at the entrance of the meeting tent. They also used the bronze to make the altar and the bronze grating. And the bronze was used to make all the tools and dishes for the altar. It was also used to make the bases for the curtains around the courtyard and the bases for the curtains at the entrance. And the bronze was used to make the tent pegs for the holy tent and for the curtains around the courtyard. Mark chapter 8, verses 14 to Mark chapter 9, verse 1. Jesus' followers misunderstand it. The followers had only 1 loaf of bread with them in the boat. They had forgotten to bring more. Jesus warned them, "And be careful! Guard against the yeast of the Pharisees and the yeast of Herod." The followers discussed the meaning of this. They said,
Maybe he said this because we have no bread.
Jesus knew that the followers were talking about this, so he asked them, "Why are you talking about having no bread? Do you still not see or understand? Have you closed your minds? Do you have eyes that can't see? Do you have ears that can't hear? Remember what I did before, when we did not have enough bread. And I divided 5 loaves of bread for 5,000 people. Remember how many baskets you filled with pieces of food that were not eaten?" The followers answered,
"We filled 12 baskets."
"And when I divided 7 loaves of bread for 4,000 people, how many baskets did you fill with the leftover pieces?" They answered,
"We filled 7 baskets."
Then he said to them, "You remember these things I did, but you still don't understand." Jesus heals a blind man in Bethsaida. Jesus and his followers came to Bethsaida. Some people brought a blind man to him and begged him to touch the man. So Jesus held the blind man's hand and led him out of the village. Then he spat on the man's eyes. He laid his hands on him and asked, "Can you see now?" The man looked up and said,
Yes, I see people. They look like trees walking around.
Again, Jesus laid his hands on the man's eyes, and the man opened them wide. His eyes were healed, and he was able to see everything clearly. Jesus told him to go home. He said, "Don't go into the town." Jesus and his followers went to the towns in the area of Caesarea Philippi. While they were traveling, Jesus asked the followers, "Who do people say I am?" They answered, "Some people say you are John the Baptizer. Others say you are Elijah. And others say you are one of the prophets." Then Jesus asked, "Who do you say I am?" Peter answered, "You are the Messiah." Jesus warned them, "And don't tell anyone who I am." Then Jesus began to teach his followers that he, as the Son of Man, must suffer many things. He told them that he would not be accepted by the older Jewish leaders, the leading priests and teachers of the law. He said that he must be killed and then rise from death 3 days later. Jesus told them everything that would happen. He did not keep anything secret. Peter took Jesus away from the other followers to talk to him alone. Peter criticized him for saying these things, but Jesus turned and looked at his followers. Then he criticized Peter. He said to Peter, "Get away from me, Satan! You don't care about the same things God does. You care only about things that people think are important." Then Jesus called the crowd and his followers to him. He said, "If you want to be my follower, you must stop thinking about yourself and what you want. You must carry the cross that comes with following me. If you try to save the life you have, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for me and for the good news, you will save it. It is worth nothing for you to have the whole world if you yourself are lost. You can never pay enough to buy back your life. People today are so sinful. They have been unfaithful to God. As you live among them, don't be ashamed of me and my teaching. If that happens, then I, the Son of Man, will be ashamed of you when I come with the glory of my Father and the holy angels." Then Jesus said, "Believe me when I say that some of you people standing here will see God's kingdom with power before you die." Proverbs chapter 6, verses 1 through 11. Don't promise to pay anyone's debt.
My son, don't agree to pay the debts of others. Don't make such deals with friends or strangers. If you have done this, you are in a trap. You are caught by your own words. So now you are under the power of someone else, and you must go and free yourself. Don't let your pride stop you. Go and beg them to free you from that debt. Don't put this off until tomorrow. Don't wait to rest or sleep. Escape like a deer running from a hunter. Free yourself like a bird flying from a trap.
The dangers of being lazy.
You lazy people, you should watch what the ants do and learn from them. Ants have no ruler, no boss or leader, but they know to prepare their food in summer and gather at harvest what they need for winter. You lazy people, how long are you going to lie there? When will you get up? You say,
I need a rest. I think I'll take a short nap.
but then you sleep and become poorer and poorer. Soon you will have nothing. It will be as if an armed robber came and took everything you own.
Thank you, everyone. That was day 56. Join us for day 57. We're going to finish the book of Exodus. We still have the clothes and equipment for the priests to contend with. Then Moses does an inspection of the holy tent. Then they set up the holy tent, and they take it for a test drive to see if the Lord will actually show up. And in the book of Mark, Jesus takes his closest followers and shows them something unbelievable. A glimpse of heaven itself. Then it's back to business as usual as Jesus frees a boy from an evil spirit. We hope you enjoyed today's verses. Be sure to leave us a positive review and to share this podcast with your friends and family. Please join us for the next episode as we experience the Bible in 1 year.
Did you know we offer online courses in creative writing, literature, and web design? Visit us at storymaster.online to learn more.